was a message, right, to the markets that it's not okay that the inflation rate has been above the Fed's target for a long time, and the markets took it as this is going to be a more hawkish Fed. Now, he did stop short of saying hikes, saying what we're thinking of doing. I mean, he was very clear. He does not want to do forward guidance. He didn't even participate in the dots right? with his colleagues. And the dots were hawkish, too, by the way. 9 out of 18 of the Fed members expect a rate hike to come this year. And so what you can see, Goldman put a nice sort of tick-tock together of what happened with rates during the news conference. They look at, overnight swaps, for instance, and pricing the Fed funds rate. And you could just see this was throughout when the statement was released on that first spike higher, and then throughout the news conference, you saw those rate hike odds basically go up for both 26 and throughout 27.
So I'm curious what you make of it. I mean, Warsh, the criticism, so to speak, or he came in under the cloud of President Trump wants lower rates, period. Doesn't matter what, I want lower rates. He's my guy to deliver them. What do you make of this in light of that?
Well, I think he passed the credibility test, for one, establishing that he's going to do what's right, which is he thinks price stability, getting it in line, which goes very much against what President Trump wants, which is lower rates. I do find it ironic that the president has just spent the last year and a half berating Powell for not being more dovish when Powell cut interest rates several times last year. And then here's his hand-picked, newly appointed Fed chair, and he comes in perceived as very hawkish. But most people would say that's good news. It means that the Fed is independent and the Fed establishes its credibility. I think that the president probably isn't going to be thrilled, but seems to accept it. The president was asked about this at G7. I saw
he had a lot
comment.
going on yesterday.
He had a lot going on, and he's facing some criticism about the deal that he signed
with Iran.
Yeah,
without a doubt.
And whether he's conceding there.
But he did comment on this.
Yeah, I saw some comments where he basically said it is what it is. Like, he thinks it'll hurt our economy to have higher interest rates if the Fed raises interest rates.
Are we going to get higher interest rates?
He didn't push back, and he didn't insult his Fed chair.
Yeah, he didn't. Not yet. That, I mean, if history's any guide, that will come.
So,
if rates, if you were to get a hike? I mean, and that's my question to you: is that
the market's pricing it in now?
Yeah.
So the market now says by fall, September, 69% odds of a rate hike. These Fed funds futures move around a lot, and especially it's going to be volatile because we don't have forward guidance, where we don't have, Powell used to be much more explicit in terms of hinting and preparing the market to price in before it happened. Fed Chairman Warsh does not want to do that, and he's made that clear. And that gets back to, I think, some old school central bankers. Greenspan very much had that view. The great Stanley Fischer, who was a mentor to all of these central bankers. I mean, that the element of surprise helps with policy implementation, because when they move, then the markets adjust.
I mean, I mentioned earlier to Jim back the briefcase indicator that we used to have for Greenspan, which literally, for those who may not have watched the old Squawk Box, was the video of watching him cross the street to the Fed on Fed Day.
You didn't know what he was going to do.
Right, because we had no idea. So depending on the size of his briefcase, it was a joke, but we would make a decision. But we're not going to get back to that level of non-transparency, are we?
I don't know. I mean, look, he has all these task forces that he described, a number of them. One of them is on communications, and the way that Warsh described what they're going to look at is, do we need the dots? Are we going to look at the statement? Are we going to look at minutes and how we communicate that, and news conferences? And he was asked, are we going to have news conferences every meeting? And he didn't rule out that we might not. He said we're going to have it when we have something to say.
Well, he said that on that last quote you had there. Yeah,
we have something to say
when
now.
You have something to say, you say it, but otherwise don't have it seems like, why have a press conference if you don't? Right.
So the market, I think, will read into when there are press conferences and when there are not press conferences. I will say, David, the next public appearance from Fed Chair Warsh will be in Sintra at the big ECB meeting, which is happening the week after next, and I'll be moderating that panel again.
You will be there.
Yeah, which is great. And it's all the big central bankers of the world, the ECB, the Bank of England, Bank of Canada, and
yeah, that's a big one.
The Fed chair.
You're on the annual rotation for that one now. You do it every year.
I don't get it every year, but this is a good year to get it.
Were you not last year?
I didn't do it last year, but I did it the previous 2 years.
It's already 2 years ago?
Mm-hmm. But I'm excited, and
as you should be.
And I have a lot of questions for him, as you might imagine.
When is that again? Sorry.
So it is the week after next on Wednesday.
Oh, great.
Yeah. right before
we'll
July
make sure,
4th.
I'll make sure to take the entire thing.
It is July 1st.
Make sure we'll take it all.
So you're going to take it all.
Because I remember having arguments about I wanted to take it all.
What could be more newsworthy than 4 of the biggest central bankers on the planet being interviewed by me?
Nothing. I had your back there.
Thank you.
Yeah,
David.
You're welcome.
All right. Meantime, biggest mover today, shares of Accenture plunging this morning after the company reported a third-quarter revenue miss, lowered its year-end guidance. Accenture also announcing a new $4 billion push into industrial cybersecurity, acquiring a majority stake in Dragos and buying 2 other companies outright. Let's talk about all of this now. CNBC exclusive interview with Julie Sweet, Accenture CEO. Julie, it's good to have you. The stock is getting shellacked here. So what happened?
Thanks, Sarah. As always, it's good to be here. Let me share our view of the quarter. So